welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real metaphysical and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. And this week, we're going to be continuing our Wealth Magic series with a focus on a topic you guys have been sending me email after email after email about, as well as a few comments in the videos. So this week, we are going to discuss passive income. Now, I know that sounds a little base and a little simple and boring, but we are going to talk about it from a magical practice sense, okay? Okay, now if you've been following this series on Wealth Magic, you know we're trying to build real wealth. We're not just trying to do a quick money spell. We're not just trying to win the lottery. We're trying to build real wealth. And if you're wondering what we mean by that, go back to our first video in the series on Wealth Magic and in this playlist and check that out. That way you're caught up to speed on what we mean by wealth. Not everybody understands the meaning of the word wealth or what it would actually mean for them in their life. And I know that seems weird to say, but it is the case. Now, however, we're going to be discussing passive income. Well, before we get into the magical aspects of passive income and how we can use magic to help us with passive income, we need to know what is passive income. Now, originally, I thought this was pretty straightforward in most cases. However, I'm realizing it is not. So first off, passive income is income that is there. It keeps coming in regardless of what you do. It is passively there. And that truly is wealth. It's wealth. It's money that grows. It's money that's working for you when you're not doing anything. That is honestly passive income. Now, most people view income as something you're just constantly grinding and punching the clock for, and you're working for someone else, and you show up, you get paid, you take that money home. You trade time for money is what you're doing. A passive income, you're not trading time. You're not trading time. In fact, you have to do very little, if anything, to it, depending on the income stream. And that is wealth. That is really, truly wealth. And that is what me personally, as a practitioner, as a mage, as a human being, I am working to build for myself and my family. And it took me a while to fully understand this. I swear, I wish I knew now I wish I knew when I was 20 what I know now. If I did, I could already just not care, but I didn't. And hopefully those of you who are younger, or those of you who are in your 30s or whatever, or just where maybe you're where I'm at and you're just trying to figure out what you're going to do for your golden years. Either way, hopefully I can help you a little bit by sharing what I have learned. Now, passive income does have a different opinion based on different people. Some people view passive income as something you have to do very little for to maintain it. Maybe only 1 or 2 days a week, and it just kind of keeps on ticking, right? And that's fine. If to you that feels very passive, that's great. What a passive income is not, though, is a second job, a part-time or full-time side hustle, any of those things. If what you're doing is not something you would be doing anyways, it's a job, period, in the story. Some people say, passive income, get on YouTube, earn passive income. I'll be honest, YouTube is not passive income. It is not. I heard a lot about it. I heard a lot of that YouTube passive income, build your channel. Truth be told, a lot of people don't know this. If you don't post new content, you can be removed from the partner program. Not that the partner program actually, compared to what a person can do, the partner program does very little. Here at Working Dragon Mystic, it helps us pay the light bill at best, but we're still grateful for it. It is a big help. It helps us with other projects that go into other things. So YouTube, in my mind, isn't passive because it takes a lot of work to get set up, figure out what you're going to film the video, then you got to edit the video, then you got to post the video and those kinds of things. Now, if, for example, let's say somehow, some way I became really popular live streamer, and getting on the live streams could actually produce an income large enough that I could live off of. I enjoy the live streams on Sunday so much that might feel passive to me because there's no editing, no nothing. It's just me and my community. I could see that being viewed as passive. if I could put 2 days worth of work into working Dragon Mystic and have 5 days of just whatever, that'd be passive. As it stands right now, it's not passive. I have had a lot of people tell me, Drake, I want to be where you're at. I want to get where you're at, where you don't have to work. Wrong. I do have to work. I'm self-employed, but I do have to work. And I am in the office usually 6 to 7 days a week. Okay. So I am working. That ain't passive. That ain't passive. So let's discuss passive. Okay. Now that we've cleared up all that, passive is an income or an investment or something that is going to pay you with bare minimum on your input. One of the most common talked about passive income streams is usually, is my camera focused? Come on, focus. Real estate. Now, a lot of people love this one because it has a lot of perks to it, tax benefits, all those. Is it passive? Honestly, it can be, but it depends on how you handle it. And for most people, it's not. Also, it has a huge cost to entry, don't it? But so if you own 1, 2, or 3 properties and you're having to do the maintenance work on them, you're having to keep the yards, you're having to do the landlord stuff. All the landlord stuff falls on you. Anytime a tenant has a problem, you got to do it. That's not passive. Owning, maintaining a home and renters, it can take a lot of time and work. So that cannot be passive. And then you got to ask, how much is it actually making? Because honestly, for the work, sometimes it can be very little because that rent goes to pay the mortgage, it goes to pay the taxes, it goes to pay all the other stuff, it goes to put in the bank for emergencies, repairs. So while you're still paying on that mortgage, the income can actually be on the smaller end from what most people think. I'm not saying it's bad. In fact, it's really good. I know a lot of people who do real estate, but at first, those smaller numbers, when that mortgage ain't paid off, they tend to deal in multiple units, those kinds of things. And of course, when it does get paid off, then they got to decide where does that money go? Because most of them don't want to just throw it into their bank account. They don't want to do that. They want to reinvest it. They want to make sure they have more money for emergency expenses and maintenance on the homes to make sure the units are good. They can keep good rent, all that stuff. Look up someone who knows more about real estate investing and those kinds of things. If you're considering that road, it ain't my road. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't want to carry the risk. And I don't want to deal with tenants, honestly. You could get property managers if you have enough money, if you can set your properties up, if you're bringing in enough, you can get a property manager. They do all that for them. Then you pay them. Okay. That would be more passive. Then all you have to do is occasionally deal with the property manager. That's more passive. So you can see there are varied levels within that real estate market of what is or is not passive. Okay. The next most common is stocks. Most people's heard about stocks. Most people are terrified about stocks because you have to go in, you have to invest in those kinds of things. Investing is now easier than ever. It really is. I know I've done a lot of research in it, and this is kind of the area I prefer. Now, you have people who do day trading. You have people who try to flip stocks for profits. I prefer very, because that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of research. You have to put a lot of time into it. Again, not wanting to carry a lot of the risk, but I know people who have been using Magick to help them to pick those things and help to influence the stocks where they need them to go before they sell them. And they've been successful. Still not passive enough for me. Okay. I'm looking for true passive. That's what I'm looking for. So what I chose as one of my areas of passive income investing is stocks, but mine is more long-term invested dividends. So I invest in strong stocks or companies that I feel I believe in. They're going to be there. I'm not worried about them. I do check out their histories and stuff like that. And then I start investing in them, and those start generating dividends per share. And I continue to invest and continue to grow my shares, which grows my dividends. And I'm tracking my dividends according to what they are monthly. So if I do nothing, if I do absolutely nothing, how much dividends do I get kicked down each month for doing nothing? That's what I look at. And since I'm in my growth period, those dividends that are getting kicked out are getting straight invested back in until the day when I finally decide, you know what, I'm going to actually retire. That is passive. Now, I do use Magick on that. I use the Magick to help grow the dividends. I use the Magick to help grow the company. I use the Magick in order to evaluate the companies and how I should distribute my investments every bi-weekly. And those things. So I am growing it in that manner. And in the last, it's only been 2 or 3 years that me and my wife's actually dove into this. She said I should do it sooner, but I never had the time to do the research I needed. And then y'all remember we all just got shut in our houses for no reasons. And, you know, we had all this free time. It was crazy, cray. I used that time. I did. I used that time to get started. And right now I've got it set up. It's grown well above and beyond what I would have believed. And I'm going to continue to do that. Now, you have heard me talk on this channel that I used it to grow my financial situation, you know, what I'm doing with my job, what my wife is doing with her job, and what debts we have to get rid of those. Those are fine. That's great. Prosperity Magick for those reasons is absolutely tangible. In fact, I still do that because if I grow my working prosperity, that allows me to grow what I'm able to put toward my passive prosperity. See what I'm doing here? So I'm working on both sides of this fence. But it is passive. Now, are these the only two? No. There are people out there who are coming up with ways and things to do that make passive income like crazy. There are people who make digital products, whether I know a few musicians, they will make music and stuff and put them on websites where other people pay a membership for that website in order to be able to use that music. Very similar to like the music I use here on YouTube. I go through YouTube. I use royalty-free music. Or if I do use a royalty music, which I don't think I ever have, I have to pay the creator for that. Or maybe I'm on a website where, you know, maybe there's some stock footage that a video or video artist or a photographer took, and I want to use that in my videos. I would have to pay the membership for that site. Those creators, those artists, those who got the original video or image, they get a cut of that. So there's a lot of musicians and artists out there who are building up portfolios of stock footage and images that they're getting cuts for. Makes perfect sense, honestly. And since that image and that work is on that site, and that site is the one doing the distributing, that's very passive for them. And again, you could use Magick for this. You could use Magick to help you find the inspiration for what is going to be needed soon. And you can use the Magick to help you fine tune and create it. And you can even use Magick to help push and promote it once it's up there. Those are all great things to do, which we will talk about some of these passive things in a different video. Right now, I'm wanting to really dive into the passive income a little bit more on it. Okay. So those are two examples. Then you have some people who do affiliate marketing. They view this as very passive. They like to be able to find great deals. Ladies, gentlemen, if you are a shopper and you know how to find great deals, great products, and you have no problem sharing a product that you believe in, start a blog or something and talk about it, and you actually enjoy it, this could be passive. Because yes, it's work to build the blog. Yes, it's work to write the blog. Yes, it's work to get the affiliate links. But once it's out there in cyberspace, it's out there. It's more and more people's going to see it more. It can start snowballing. Many of you know, I don't do well with text. I don't do well with a lot of that stuff. I do have a few product reviews, which do have affiliate links on them because I like the products. I want to share it. And if you choose to use the link, it does help support the channel. It also gives a way for people to support the channel when they ask. I don't do a lot of it. It does take a lot of work that I'm not interested in. It don't feel passive to me. It feels more like work, and I got enough of that. However, in some cases, like Outlaw Soap, I love their product. Absolutely loved them. And I reached out to them to see if I could get them more customers and signed up. We got an affiliate deal going. And not only did they give us an affiliate link, they gave us a discount code for the Working Dragon Mystic viewers, which I thought was great. So I'm able to support a product I do believe in, and they're willing to help support the channel in their way there too. Mutually beneficial working relationship. So in those cases, I'll use it because that is something that can help me support what I'm doing and build what I'm building. Consider those things as well. These are just a few quick examples of what people are doing. I don't really know someone who does this much, but I've heard there are surveys you can take. Basically, you take surveys and they pay you, and people apparently can make an actual income. But from my research on it, and again, computers are not my forte, let's admit, you would have to spend a long time on your computer doing surveys. That sounds a little crazy. But, again, what level of passive are you looking for? Are you looking for absolutely you don't have to do anything? Are you looking for minimum, like 1 or 2 days that you got to put into it? And what's your time frame of building this income also? Because again, like I said, if I started when I was 20, I could have, because I'm in my 40s now, people. Sorry. That's one of the big, this ain't all my daughter. This ain't all my daughter. Squirrel didn't do all this. Some of this is just years. But had I known then what I know now, and had I been doing what I'm doing now, even if it would have been in smaller intervals, we did the math. Okay, we actually did the math. And my wife's not exactly comfortable with me sharing the exact details, but she said I could share the reference points. Okay, so here we go. So we actually sat down and we did the math. And if I was investing only a quarter of what I currently do monthly now, or even like $5, $10, $20 bi-weekly, something like that, we would be well and above our actual target goal for retirement already in just that 20-year period. Because, well, theoretically, we're hoping to retire in 10 years and enjoy some years of nothing, but or just do what we want at that point. So, we would be beyond our target easily, and with another 10 years to build on it. But I didn't know that then. So I got to work with what I got now. So you have to consider what your time frame is, because you may have to be more aggressive in building a passive income, because passive income, honestly, it's up front. All the work is up front. It's setting it up. It's what you got to do. Once you get it set up, once it's rolling, it just keeps on rolling. That's why real estate and stocks are the two big examples. It's all about the upfront investments. It's all about getting that set up, getting the system set up, and having it rolling for you. One book that I absolutely freaking loved, and I'll try to link it below here, is I want to say it was 4 or 5 hour work week. I absolutely adored that book. And I actually go back and reread that book from time to time just for a refresher of the mindset, because the mindset in that book is actually one of the more empowering things about it. But he's talking about how you can get your investments and how you can have a cash flow and you still have time to do the things you enjoy. And that's the goal. That is the goal. And I've even been asked, Drake, when you say retire, does that mean we won't be seeing you on YouTube? Actually, no. I'd say you'll still see me here. In fact, my goal is to have the school to where all the courses that I have planned are already up there. If I'm working on a course, it'll just be a bonus. But I do still plan to do the live streams. I still plan to do videos, but I plan to do a lot less on a weekly basis. And I say that because I'm terrified of cameras, but at the same time, I have come to love the work I do in the community. So I would probably keep this up as a hobby, and continue to keep it running, not just the school and the classes, but I'd continue to do this just because I need something to do. But right now, yeah, I'm really grinding it out, so I can not grind it out then. But those are things you need to consider. Now, on the magical side, but I know I said we'd talk about the magic later. I think we've kind of berated and beat the nail on the head for what is a passive income and given some ideals. Do your own research. I'm not a financial investor, people. Do your research, do your reading, invest in you and your education. It's actually quite amazing. There's a lot of great channels right here on YouTube that can actually help you with that at no charge. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to do all these other things. If you have the money to do it, great. But there's a lot of great places to get started right here on YouTube. Like I said, 4-hour work week. I'm going to try and make sure to remember to link that below. And for fun, I'll see if I can make it an affiliate link too, just to stick with the theme. But now magically, what would this look like? Okay, so many of you have seen my long-term prosperity video here on this channel. Many of you absolutely love that spell. And many of you know I was living in the red. We were bad off. We had debt. We weren't making money to pay our freaking bills. We were just sinking. Okay. There was we weren't even staying flat. We were sinking. And that is when I started to use that spell and started to really test it and push its limits and figure out what I could do with it. Okay. That is a long-term prosperity spell. It will help you to grow your prosperity. Did it do that? Absolutely. It was opening doors left and right that was allowing us to make, granted, those doors, we had to walk through them. But we were also getting raises here and there. Financial situations were unraveling. When an unexpected bill hit us, a solution was presented to us. I remember one specific thing, like our car just freaking died. The transmission just, screw you. And we went to get it fixed, and they actually quoted me like, what was it? It was almost $4,000 just to fix the transmission. And that was the best quote we could find out of the ones we looked into. And that particular car at the time was not worth that. Interestingly enough, though, we was able to go to a car dealer, get a really stripped down manual transmission, brand new, off the lot, 3 miles on it car. With like a $300 car payment that we could afford. Actually, we could actually afford it at the time, and they was going to take another $6,000 off for the trade-in on the car that didn't run. That means they were willing to give me more for the car than the car was worth, plus it would cost more. They gave me more than it would cost me to fix the transmission. So it worked out. Now, that little car there that we got that day, we ran that thing and we had it paid off in no time flat. It was a stripped down little Kia Rio. Didn't cost much. Anyone who's seen these things, you know what I'm talking about. They are little, they are inexpensive, but they got great gas mileage. They're practical. And at that time in our lives, that was our very first brand spanking new car. We were proud of that sucker. And we drove it into the ground. But that car also helped us to do all the things we did. We took it cross country, military drives for work and stuff when my wife joined the military. So that little car, we still love that car, even though we did have to get rid of it eventually. So problems would be solved. We're constantly doing it. And one of the reasons I'm focusing on prosperity all around for that spell is because of that. However, I still use that spell, and I will tweak it now, and I will use similar spells to it. So you can take that same design for that spell and apply it to something specific instead of general prosperity. So let's say growing dividends and stuff. You could take that spell, and instead of general prosperity, you could focus it onto your stock portfolio, your dividend portfolio. If you're running a affiliate marketing blog, or just a blog in general, maybe you have ads on the blog and you're just typing a blog and you got a successful blog. You could focus your magic on getting a successful blog going. And that magic, the reason we like that long-term repetitive magic is because it keeps moving the goal post forward. Remember, I explained it in that video. You keep moving that goalpost. So you keep reaching the next goal. You keep reaching that next goal. And when we're talking about something like passive income and growth that you want to spend minimal time on, I find that magic actually helps that minimal time go much, much further. So me personally, what I do is, I'll tell you my process right here. Okay. I invest twice a month. bi-weekly. Basically, every time payday would have, we put money toward our investments. Okay. That's what I do. We never get paid without something going to what we're investing in. Okay. Because we truly want to grow that wealth. Where we come from, that ain't something we had ever. Okay. So if I make that transfer, if I transfer that money and I put it toward those investments, I do a ritual that day. I do a ritual that day to continue the growth of my investment. And I let that ritual roll and grow for the next 2 weeks until I do it again. Repeat, do it again. Every 2 weeks, I'm doing ritual and spell work plus my investing every 2 weeks. And I have seen exponential growth in my investments. And I'm feeling good. Like, I don't worry about it. I know a lot of people right now with the economy the way it is, they got a lot of worries about a lot of things. But thanks to Magick and watching its function and watch how it's proven itself over the years, I am very, very comfortable in what I am doing and what is going on, at least with my particular investments in the areas that I'm working in. So that would be my first one. If you're starting with passive income and you're trying to grow that passive income, note it can take time to grow. Be aware of that. Passive income usually does take time to grow, but while you're growing it, since it is passive, you can do something else to bring in money. Like I was talking to a friend today. I know a construction worker. We had a very similar conversation than this. He lives very well below his means, which we talked about. Make sure where you're actually living at your means isn't tapping out all your resources. Because if you make $3,000 and you're living off $3,000, you're living above your means. Okay, because you're not able to do the things you need to do, like save, invest, those things that actually build wealth. That's something they'll get you on. They'll trick you. They'll try to keep getting you to raise your cost of living and living above your means, because they tell you you've got the money. Outthink them. So he was living pretty simple, but he was also wasting his money. He was wasting on stupid stuff. But he had a conversation with me and a few other people. Last time I talked with him, lo and behold, he's like, I just stopped doing all the stupid stuff. He's like, so basically, I get up 5 days a week. I hit the construction site. I work. I bring home my money. He's like, on weekends, he's like, I actually bought me a grill and a smoker. And now I've got to actually help him with the smoker, because he wants to learn how I run my smoker and stuff. Fine. I'm okay with that. But he will buy a case of beer. He'll buy some meat, and he treats himself on the weekend. He grills. He enjoys his shows, his sports, and he relaxes. He rests. He recovers from the week. But that's all he does. That's his entertainment value. That time out in his yard with the grill and the smoker and his TV and his sports, drinking a few beers. And then rest of the week, coffee, tea, and water is what he said. As far as what he's eating, I don't know. But I do know he's just, getting through the week and doing his job. But he's also told me he enjoys his job more because now he's not punching that clock for the boss. That's not what he sees anymore. Now he knows he's punching that clock for what he's building over here. And he has been investing. He has grown it quite a bit. And that's really the mentality shift there. You have to know what you're doing here, that grind that he's doing, working those job sites. I mean, he enjoys his work, don't get me wrong. But instead of the frustration of feeling like you're always having to answer to the boss and punch that clock and grind it for the boss, he's building something over here completely separate. That's all his. It's going to continue to be there no matter what happens. And even he did some math, and with his basic savings that he always sets aside for emergencies when maybe they can't find a job, he's already got that passive building up, so that he's seeing that he could almost replace his emergency saving fund, but he's not going to. He's going to keep both of them because life happens. And I said, that's an amazing ideal. So he is doing that. Mind you, he's doing this all strictly physical. He's not a magical practitioner, but it's that mindset of how he shifted. Now, could he take this money and raise his living standards? Yes, he could. But the more money he spends on raising that, the less money he has to put toward his passive growth that he's hoping to build up. So you've got to balance these things out in life. Is there a right or wrong? Most would say no, because you got to decide your risk threshold. You got to decide your how you want to spend your time, those things. You're going to have to make those decisions for yourself. I would say this. If you're not happy and if you're not progressing to the goal that you feel would make you happy, then you're doing it wrong. That would be the only wrong. But if you find that thing that you're interested in, do your research, learn about it, and I think you will find that using just something as simple as the long-term prosperity spell, just shifted to focus on your investment, will actually help that grow exponentially. And I'll look into doing some more videos focused on growing investments and stuff like that, specific spell workings if I can get to it. In fact, there's actually a working I've been testing over the last year for my personal stuff. I got to pull some notes and crunch some numbers, but if the numbers come out, I'll be sharing that here on this channel as well as part of this series. All right. Hopefully this has answered some of your questions about passive investing. Do your research and check out different YouTube channels that deal with money and investing. Minority Mindset is a great channel. I love his content. There's a investor called Joseph Hogue, I think is his name. I cannot think of his channel's name right now, but yeah, there's a lot of great investing channels and information channels to start building that education. Here in Working Dragon Mystic, we try to deal with more of the magic because that's more my forte. I didn't go to school for investing. I'm just an old fool who figured out his path and has been using magic to walk that path. So definitely look into it. And I will, again, I'm going to try and make sure that book is linked below because I found it to be a very interesting read in just mental mindset and practicalities and ways that you can do things that can help give you your time back. Okay. Like I said, hope this video has answered some of your questions on passive income and how you could start developing it and using magic. All right. And until next time, everybody, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.